Recording, are we, huh? Boy, is it hot tonight. It's July 18th, 1992, and it's hot. It's been hot for days, hasn't it? This book is called Jimmy's Boa Bounces Back, and look at this. There's a picture of a huge boa constrictor snake on the cover, and there's a little poodle dog licking the boa constrictor, huh?
No, I get it.
Alrighty. Jimmy's Boa Bounces Back. Look at this. Look at him. It looks like he ate something big. What is it?
Pumpkin.
He ate pumpkins, didn't he, huh? Oh, right.
Could people eat pumpkins?
Well, we can, but we have to have them like in pumpkin pie, or we have to, cook the pumpkin. But a snake, I guess he could. I don't think it's a very good idea. Okay, well, the book starts out. Look, there's a little boy up in a tree, and there's a little girl walking by, and says, "Oh, I had to serve cookies at my mom's garden club meeting, and you'll never guess who was there." "Who?" "Your boa." "My snake?" "Yes. He must have run away from the farm." Uh-oh, the little boy's very concerned. "But how did he get to your mom's garden club?" "Well, actually, my mom wore him." "She wore my snake?" "Yeah, she thought he would spruce up her old gray suit, and all the garden club ladies thought that she looked terrific. She wrapped the snake all around her shoulders and around her arms, and she went to the club meeting." "Silly?" "Wow, my mom wouldn't even touch him." "Well, you see, your boa has spent a few cold nights in the tree outside my house, so I told my mom that snakes don't move around much when they're cold and tired." "Well, did he stay still?" "Well, he might have stayed still, except Mrs. Rosebug's wig flew off."
Because there's a bird in it.
She had on a flying wig? "Actually, it got caught on the alligator's tooth." "You mean there were alligators at your mom's garden club?" So he's imagining this. Look at this. He's thinking, "Oh my goodness, here's what the alligators must have looked like." That's what he's imagining, isn't he? "Yes, one. It was Miss Greenfield's alligator purse, and when she screamed and jumped up, her alligator purse got caught on Mrs. Rosebud's wig." Okay, now here's how it worked, and it pulled the wig off. "But why did she jump up?" "Well, because Mrs. Peachtree's poodle sneezed and sprayed cold punch on her back. Look at this. The poodle went, shoo, because the poodle had been drinking the punch, and it sprayed on to the lady's back. And she screamed, and the purse flew up in the air, and it took off the wig. I guess some got up his nose. You see, he was swimming in the punch bowl." "You mean Mrs. Peachtree let her poodle dive into the punch bowl?" "Well, actually, Mrs. Ivy hit her." "What? The garden club ladies were socking punches at each other?" And this is what the kid imagines it must have looked like. No, Jimmy. They were sipping punch, but when Mrs. Ivy fainted, she hit Miss Peachtree, who dropped her poodle in the punch bowl. Now, nobody wanted any punch after that." Oh. "But what made Mrs. Ivy faint?" "Well, your boa constrictor snake." "My boa? I thought he was asleep on your mom's head." "Well, he sort of woke up when he smelled Mrs. Ivy's yellow-spotted bongo plant." The snake is liking the plant, isn't he, huh?
Yeah.
"Well, Miss Ivy was giving a talk to the garden club about this rare yellow-spotted bongo plant from South America, and then when she mentioned that its only natural enemy is a boa constrictor, well, your boa constrictor snake gobbled it up, pot and all. And, of course, when that happened, the other lady fainted and dropped the poodle in there, and the wig got pulled off, and that's how it happened." "Oh, I see. She fainted and hit Miss Peachtree, who dropped her poodle, who sneezed punch on Mrs. Greenleaf, whose alligator purse caught Miss Rosebud's wig." "Yeah, and Miss Rosebud kept asking me to close the window because she felt a draft. She didn't know her hair was off." "But whatever happened to the poodle in the punch bowl, Meggie? Or, I'm afraid that your boa constrictor snake ate it." "The poodle?" He's saying it ate the dog? No, Jimmy. He ate the punch bowl and saved the poodle. The poodle was so grateful that he wouldn't leave your boa constrictor's side. He ate the punch bowl. Wow, can I serve cookies at your mom's next garden club meeting? Jimmy says. I don't think so. She's not a member anymore. Well, can we go back there and get my boa constrictor? No, your boa left with Miss Peachtree's poodle. Maybe they're at her house. Let's go see. And there they ran over there, and there's the boa constrictor with the poodle in the front lawn. And look at this. Oh, good Peaches, you've come home all by yourself. And here's the snake going up and climbing in the bedroom. So when she goes inside, what's she gonna find? Da 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 da.
The puppy.
There, she's carrying her puppy upstairs, and here's a snake coming out from the top of the stairs, and he's got an apple or an orange or something in his mouth. And
it's a peach.
Is it a peach? Okay. And I think that lady is going to scream when she gets to the top of the stairs, don't you?
Yeah. No, I'm dead.
Okay, now we're reading a book about a dog named Rhubarb. Huh?
Not a bookmark, Daddy.
Yeah, it is.
Is this one long?
I don't know. It looks like it's a little long. There was a farm called Ricky Ticky in the land of serendipity, surrounded by fences of white weathered wood that wove through the meadows and fields. And this farm was filled with simple animals that lived a simple life. And look, here's the farm. There's all the animals down there. And there lived on the Rickety Tickety farm all the creatures you would normally find on a farm. And there were ducks and chickens and rabbits and cows and sheep and kittens and a mother pig called a sow. And they grunted and cackled and mooed and meowed as they lived their lives as nature allowed. And so here they all are. What does a pig do?
Coin, 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 coin.
What do the ducks do?
Coin, 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 coin,
What do
coin.
bunnies do? What do chickies do?
Bah, 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 bah,
What do
bah.
kitties do?
Meow, meow.
What do lammies do?
Bah, bah, bah. Cows do. Moo, moo, moo.
And what do the lammies do, Cheyenne?
Bah, bah.
Okay. Well, there also lived at Rickety Tickety a delightfully fuzzy little pup, and she was cute, and she was cuddly, and she was all those things that make you smile when you think of words like fluffy or friendly or furry. And most of all, she was just a tiny tail-wagging pup who would just as soon lick you on the nose as say good morning. And her name was Rhubarb. But all of her friends called her Ruby, for she shined like a sparkling jewel. Now, Ruby loved to play in and about the Rickety Tickety farm with all the creatures that lived there, and the bunnies and the chickens and the sheep. They all loved to play with Ruby when she wasn't asleep. And the ducks that lived in the pond behind the barn loved to play with Ruby, too. And they would make all sorts of silly duck games and flap their wings and chase her around and around. And Ruby would chase or be chased, and no one could tell which for sure, until she would fall into a panting, laughing heap, and she's watching as a frilly feather floated up in the air, coming down to rest on the tip of her nose. Kids, I do not want to be hit by the books as we're reading. I'm going to put them down there, okay? Now, when she wasn't with the ducks, she could be found running around in the meadow with the sheep, and together they would run through the fields of purple flowers. Purple clover. Cheyenne. They would play tag, and whoever was it would chase the other until, with any luck, he or she was able to lick another on the nose. Oh, yuck. Look at this. They're licking each other on the nose. Now, Ruby loved this and would bound around the meadow, jumping bits of clover that were bigger than she, just so she could lick some sheep upon the nose and say, "Tag, you're it." Okay. Now, Ruby would even play with the pigs in the pen. Pigs play in a funny way, too, running about in the mud and rooting their noses like plows in a furrow, looking for secrets that surely were buried there. But Ruby would join right in just the same, searching and searching, for she knew not what, until she was covered with muck, with a muddy mutt. Well, when Ruby and the pigs were finally pooped, they would flop down in a patch of sunlight and let the sun bake their muddy bodies clean. 3 little pudgy pigs and a fluffy little puppy called Ruby. I thought the puppy was named Rhubarb. Oh, okay, Ruby and Rhubarb, all right. Now, the problem, you see, was that all the animals that lived on Rickety-Tickety Farm loved to play with Ruby. And she played with the ducks and the sheep and the pigs, and when she wasn't playing, she was resting so she could play some more. And one day, as she was resting in the shades of a blooming lilac bush, the sheep and the ducks came looking to play with Ruby at the same time. And the sheep were going, bah! And the ducks were going, quack, 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 quack. And Ruby woke up to find that she was being pulled this way and that by her friends. The sheep wants her to do what?
Play with her.
And the duck wants her to do what?
And play with her.
All right, okay. Now, to make matters worse, the pigs picked this very same time to fetch Ruby to go play in the mud. Now, the normal peace and quiet of the farm was replaced by the squabbling sounds of the ducks quacking and the sheep baaing and the pigs oinking in the sun. "She's ours," quacked the duck. "That dog is ours. We get to play with her." "No, she's not. She's ours," blared the sheep. "Well, you're both wrong," squealed the pigs, "for Ruby belongs to us. She's a dog who likes pigs." And round they argued as to who was going to play with Ruby and when. Now, what would you do in a case like that, huh? Nobody's happy, so what are you going to do?
I'll just play with I'll choose who I'm going to play with.
Is that who you're going to do? You'd say, well, I'm going to get to choose? Okay.
I'll get to choose first.
Oh, you would choose first, too?
Yeah.
Okay,
I want to play with Ruby.
Well, now look what's happening. Look at that picture. Looks like the pig is pulling her tail, and the duck has got her nose, and I don't know what the lammy's doing. Ruby continued to be pulled this way and that, and the ducks pulled on her nose, and the sheep pulled on her toes, and the pigs yanked at her tail. And around the lilac bush they pushed and pulled her fuzzy friend until the dust got so thick that nobody could see. All the animals finally stopped when the dust settled, and they discovered that Ruby was gone. They ran around the bush and looked, but nowhere could they find their furry little friend. And still arguing and squabbling loudly, they raced about the barnyard looking for the gentle jewel, Ruby. But nowhere could she be found. Oh, where'd she go?
Up in the tree.
The lilac bush became a quiet place again as the bees buzzed around the blossoms, and deep inside and high upon the bush was a little dog hanging tightly to a branch, looking very confused indeed. She didn't know what to do. She loved all her friends, but they were loving her to distraction. They were loving her too much, and she was nearly scared out of her wits in the bush as a voice called out from the branches in a slow, gentle drawl, "What you doing?" Look at Ruby spun her head and gripped the branch even tighter, and then she saw, hanging upside down from a nearby branch, was a
possum.
A possum, that's right.
A possum.
"Well," she said as she scrambled up to where he hung, "my friends, the other barnyard animals, all want me to play, and they're pulling me this way and that, and I climbed the lilac bush to find some peace and quiet." "Yep," said the possum, "and quiet you might have found, except your friends are back." And sure enough, the barnyard critters had heard Ruby in the bush and had come racing from all points on the farm. And the ducks and the pigs and the sheep all raced around the tree, calling for Ruby to come down and play. "She's ours," quacked the ducks. "No, she's not. No, she's not," bawled the sheep. "You're both wrong," squealed the pigs. "Ruby is ours. She's a dog who likes pigs. No, she's a dog who likes ducks." And they argued and argued and argued and they argued. "Ahem," said the possum. "Oh, what are you speaking of?" And the farm animals were miffed at the interruption, but they answered, "We're talking about Ruby, of course. She's our friend." Said the possum, "but a friend doesn't belong to anyone." Friendship is not something you own. Friendship is something you share. To have a friend, you must be a friend. There is no other way. So, from that day forward, the animals that lived at Rickety Tickety Farm shared their friendship and Ruby with all. And she would play with the ducks and the sheep and the pigs, and when she was tired, she would share a cup of tea with a possum in a tree. A friend cannot be owned. That is plain to see. Friendships must be shared, just like our friend Ruby. And look at, there they are, and they're all taking a nap. Is that a good book?
No, another one.
All right, now Daddy's going to read Back to School if we have any time on the tape. Oh, okay, we're doing okay. The Berenstain Bears go back to school. You'll be going back to school pretty soon, won't you? You'll be first grade.
I'm going to school.
Yeah, she's got another year to wait. Back to school. Well, it had been a wonderful summer for the Bear family, and they'd gone swimming and boating at the lake, and they'd picnicked in the woods and taken many walks along the sunny paths. And now summer was just about over, and there was a nip in the air, and the birds were beginning to fly south, and the leaves in the tree were changing color. And one evening at supper, Brother Bear said, "I'm getting tired of summer vacation. I think I'm ready to go back to school." "Well, that's good news," said Daddy Bear, Papa Bear, "because school will be starting again very soon." And Sister Bear's ears perked up. "School?" Mama Bear noticed. "As a matter of fact," she said, "Sister and I are going to meet her new teacher tomorrow. This year, Sister will be starting kindergarten." And she wasn't quite sure how she felt about that. She liked being at home with her mommy and her daddy and her books and her toys and all of her friends. "What will school be like, Mama?" she asked at bedtime. "Well," Mama said, "you'll find out tomorrow." And she tucked Sister into bed and kissed her goodnight. So the next day, Mama and Sister packed a lunch and took the long walk down the winding dirt road to Bear Country School.
The house is, Daddy. It's
Where?
Way over.
There it is. You're right. That's it, isn't it? They took the long walk all the way to Bear Country School. And Handy Bear Gus was up on a ladder fixing the roof. "Hello," said Mama. "This is Sister Bear. She starts kindergarten next week." "Well, we'll be glad to have her," said Gus. "Miss Honey Bear is the kindergarten teacher, and you'll find her inside."
No, this says me.
Okay. That's Cheyenne. "Hello there," said Mrs. Honey Bear in a loud, jolly voice. "Come right in and look around." Now, Sister thought Miss Honey Bear's voice was a little scary, but...
No, Cheyenne Bear.
Well, Cheyenne Bear, then. Cheyenne Bear thought Miss Honey Bear's voice was a little scary, but she'd let Miss Honey Bear take her hand and lead her into the kindergarten room. This is kindergarten school.
But mine didn't look like that.
No.
Well, there was a lot.
"What do you do in kindergarten?" Cheyenne asked as they sat down for lunch. "Well," the teacher said, "we read stories and we sing songs and we learn our ABCs and we paint pictures and we play games and we make things out of clay and we build with blocks. We do lots of fun things." And so Cheyenne Bear went over and looked at the paint. Red, yellow, blue, green, orange, purple. The paintbrushes up there.
Well, I don't know what pink is.
And there were all the things Sister liked to do. And she had never seen such big jars of paint or such fine books, and there were even a whole barrel of clay. School might be fun after all, thought Cheyenne. And by that time, she and Mama started home. But when the big morning came, Sister started to worry again. "Oh, Mama," she said, "what if I don't like school? What if I just don't like it?" Well, then the big yellow school bus pulled up in front of the treehouse. "Stop worrying," said Brother Bear. "School is fun. You'll like it. Now, get going or we'll miss the bus." And so he grabbed her hands, and away they went. And every so often the bus stopped and more bears climbed on, and most of them were very excited like Brother, but some of the smaller ones were quiet like Sister. And as more and more old friends climbed on, they got noisier and noisier, and the smaller ones got quieter. You don't ride a school bus, do you? Because you live right close to school, don't you?
Yeah. Where's the smaller one?
There's Cheyenne Bear. See? There they are. They're kind of holding hands because they're a little insecure. And the little bear who sat next to Cheyenne began to look worried, so she smiled at him and held his hand. And at last the school bus arrived, and the Bear County School looked very nice. And Handy Bear Gus had fixed the roof and painted the trim, and he'd cut the grass. And Miss Honey Bear's kindergarten room looked beautiful. Everything was ready for the kids, and so they came in the door. Look at that, Cheyenne. What would you do if you were going to that school, baby doll?
I'll do everything and I won't.
You would do the clay, and the blocks, and the teeter-totter, and the painting. You'd learn about A is for
apple,
and B is for
B,
and C is for
cat.
right. And Hunter's even learning how to spell all those words, aren't you?
Yep.
You can read them. Well, before very long, the kindergarten got noisy, and 2 of them wanted to play with the same dump truck, and 2 others wanted to look at the same book, and a whole gang of kids wanted to be the first to play with the blocks, and what a commotion it was. Cheyenne put her hands over her ears and kind of looked worried. And suddenly, a loud, jolly voice called out, "Story time!" And Miss Honey Bear was calling the class to the book corner, and that quieted things down. And after the story, Sister tried everything. She painted a picture. Look at that picture. What'd she paint a picture of?
Her in her house.
Her in her house, and she helped build a block city, and she made a giant clay donut, and she looked at all the books, and she ate all of her bread and honey at snack time, and she fell asleep at nap time. Do you have nap time?
No.
Didn't think so.
No.
And when she climbed off the bus with Brother at the end of the day, Sister was the excited one. "Mama, Papa, look at what I did in school today." And Cheyenne held up her painting. Oh, boy. Well, a few days later, the weather turned warm again, and it was as it sometimes does in early fall, and Brother was restless at breakfast, and "I wish it could still be summer vacation," he said, "so I wouldn't have to go to school today." "Oh, come on, Hunter Bear," said Cheyenne. "School is fun. Let's get going or we'll miss the bus." And she ran down the stairs to get on the bus. And look at this. Now she's a little smarty pants, isn't she? Hunter's looking at her real funny. There's Cheyenne, there's Hunter, and Hunter's looking over at Sister. On the bus, all the bears were talking about the things they were going to do at school. Soccer practice and science projects and music lessons, all kinds of things. Thought Brother, and Sister Bear was right. School is fun. And off they went in the big yellow bus to the Bear Country School. And that's it. I want you guys to tell me just a minute here about the puppies. Now, the puppies are about what? They're about 4 weeks old maybe now, I guess. What are their names?
Queenie, Mikey, Skylar, and Waldorf.
Waldorf and Skylar?
Scuttle.
Scuttle. Oh, one of them is named Scuttle. That's right. Scuttle and Waldorf and Mikey and Queenie. Ah, well, for heaven's sake.
Queenie.
Queenie?
Queen
Queen E. Okay.
Queen.
Well, they're very cute. The little girl dog jumps out of the box the minute we go into the bathroom, doesn't she? And the little boy dog. What's your favorite of the boy dogs?
My favorite is all 4.
Oh, don't you have one you like best?
They all live. What's favorite girl dog? Queenie.
You only got one girl dog and 3 boy dogs, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And Mingy, is Mingy a good mama?
Yeah.
She is, isn't she? She really likes to be a good mama to her puppies.
Yeah. There's 2 boys. There's two girls, but cause one of them a mama, right?
One of them's a mama? Yeah.
So
There's a mama girl dog and a girl puppy dog.
Yeah.
Isn't there? Oh, that's sweet, huh? You like this, sweetie? I want you to give Daddy a hugger. That makes okay. That's nice. That makes her all lovey when she thinks about the little puppies. You guys have been so good with the puppies, and you love them so much, don't you?
Yep.
You have you decorated their dog house, their little box that they sleep in, and you drew pictures and hung them up in the bathroom so that the doggies would have something pretty to look at, didn't you? Didn't you?
Don't pinch my finger.
Oh, don't pinch your finger.
He's playing with me.
Come on, don't do that, buddy. Well, you know what? It's time for you guys to go to bed. Oh, I love you. Oh, that's so nice. I got my big nighttime kisses.
Good night.
Good night.